In the history of spaceflight, only 4 entities have launched a space capsule into orbit and successfully brought it back to the Earth: the United States, Russia, China, and Elon Musk.
You see someone like Elon Musk, I mean, what the hell do you make of someone like that?
Because he's one of our great geniuses, and we have to protect our genius.
Probably the most important entrepreneur on the planet.
I think what Elon's done with Tesla is fantastic.
I'm really curious about how in the world he manages to do multiple impossible things.
He's a force in society that's like a cross-pollination of Thomas Edison and Tony Stark from the Avengers, okay? You cross-pollinate those two folks, you get Elon Musk.
He's really the most driven person I think I've ever met.
Elon's absolutely fixated on going to Mars, and that is almost, I think, is his life mission.
You can do something that is very sexy looking, that goes from 0 to 60 in less than 3.9 seconds.
He's landing rockets on robot drone rafts in the ocean.
But honestly, after sitting down and talking to him, I realized that I'm now convinced that he's an alien.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Elon Musk!
When I was young, I didn't really know what I was going to do when I got older. People kept asking me, but then eventually I thought that the idea of inventing things would be really cool. Depending on how well you want to do, and particularly if you're starting a company, you need to work super hard. So what does super hard mean? Well, when my brother and I were starting our first company, instead of getting an apartment, we just rented a small office and we slept on the couch. And we showered at the YMCA, and we're so hard up we had just one computer. So the website was up during the day, and I was coding at night, 7 days a week, all the time. And I sort of briefly had a girlfriend in that period, and in order to be with me, she'd have to sleep in the office. So work hard, like every waking hour. You have to put in 80 to 100-hour weeks every week. If other people are putting in 40-hour work weeks and you're putting in 100-hour work weeks, then even if you're doing the same thing, you know that you will achieve in 4 months what it takes them a year to achieve. There are just times when something is important enough, you believe in it enough, that you do it in spite of the fear. I mean, what tends to happen is it's sort of quite exciting for the first several months of starting a company, and then reality sets in, things don't go as well as planned, customers aren't signing up, the technology or the product isn't working as well as you thought, and it can be very, very painful for several years. So I think, frankly, starting a company, I would advise people to have a high pain tolerance.
Whatever area that you get into, given that even if you're the best of the best, there's always a chance of failure. So I think it's important that you really like whatever you're doing. If you don't like it, life is too short.
And once you have a family, you start taking risks not just for yourself but for your family as well. It gets much harder to do things that might not work out. So now is the time to do that before you have those obligations. So I would encourage you to take risks now. Do something bold. You won't regret it. Thank you. No one should put this many hours into work. This is not good. And people should not work this hard. They should not do this. This is very painful.
Painful in what sense?
It hurts my brain and my heart.
You know, there are American heroes who don't like this idea. Neil Armstrong, Gene Cernan have both testified against commercial spaceflight in the way that you're developing it, and I wonder what you think of that.
I was very sad to see that, because those guys are, those guys are heroes of mine, so it's really tough. I wish they would come and visit and see the hardware that we're doing here. And I think that would change their mind.
They inspired you to do this, didn't they?
Yes.
What are you trying to prove to them?
What I'm trying to do is to make a significant difference in spaceflight and help make spaceflight accessible to almost anyone.
Like one of the most difficult choices I have ever faced in life was in 2008, I think I had maybe $30 million left, or $30 or $40 million left in 2008. And I had two choices. I could put it all into one company, and then the other company would definitely die, or split it between the two companies. But if I split it between the two companies, then both might die. And when you put your blood, sweat, and tears into creating something, or building something, it's like a child. And so it's like, which one am I going to let one starve to death? I couldn't bring myself to do it, so I split the money between the two. Fortunately, thank goodness, they both came through.
Were you a little naive when you thought I can easily build an electric car and a rocket?
I didn't think it would be easy. Like I said, I thought they would probably fail. But you know, like creating a company is almost like having a child. So it's sort of like, how do you say your child should not have food?
So once you have the company, you have to feed it and nurse it and take care of it, even if it ruins you.
Yeah.
Space is hard, and rockets tend to fail, unfortunately. I mean, particularly like for a rocket, there's like 1,000 ways a thing can fail, and like one way it can work. So you could have a lot of rocket failures.
When you had that third failure in a row, did you think, I need to pack this in?
Never.
Why not?
I don't ever give up. I mean, I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Stage 2 tanks pressing for flight. Flight computer has control of the vehicle.
For SpaceX, the first 3 launches failed, and we just barely able to scrape together enough parts and money to do the 4th launch. If that 4th launch had failed, we would have been dead.
But when critics say you can't do this, your answer to them is,
we've done it.
There need to be reasons to get up in the morning. You know, life can't just be about solving problems. Otherwise, what's the point? There's got to be things that people find inspiring and make life worth living.